What is up, guys? Welcome back to Disc Golf Weekly. This is part 2 of the 3-part series of the reviews for the 2016 Trilogy Challenge. Part 2 is going to be featuring the mid-range, and that is the Sling from Westside Discs. Alright guys, so starting off here, we're going to be doing some short little upshots, just seeing how this thing works as more of an approach mid-range. So right here you can see it's about 175 foot upshot. I threw it with a sidearm. My sidearm isn't the best, but I always like to include at least one clip of the sidearm, just for those that do throw sidearms a lot. And here you can see more of a low ceiling, kind of a flat. I threw that thing with some power because I knew it was a low ceiling, and you can see it just slid right up to the basket, really nice. And now here's Alex, again, 175, 200 feet-ish. Throws it out there nice and flat, and you can see it's just holding nice and straight. Kicks off of that tree, but it would have actually gone long there. And here is more of an approach hyzer, and you can see it handles it just fine. Flashes the basket there. We both thought that was going in. So now we're going to be getting into more of some typical hyzer shots, your standard kind of a mid-range, 200, 250, 300 feet. Here is Alex again. Big thank you to him. He is my second cameraman, and as you guys can tell, the second guy throwing discs as well, so you might see him in some videos. So big thank you to him. He's also part of Central Coast Disc Golf, so if you don't know about them, I'm not sure where you've been, but definitely go check them out. But here you can see, like I said, just some hyzers, intermediate, kind of long-range hyzers. Handles it just fine. There was a couple of these here where I was putting some serious torque on them, and it handled it just fine. There you can see that one about 250-ish, went a little bit deep. Still handled the power just fine. Now we're going to be getting into some more flats, maybe some hyzer flip type shots. And again, you can see it just holds that line really, really nice, and then kind of fights out at the end there. Very typical mid-range shot, kind of what a lot of people are looking for in a mid-range. Very, very straight flight, some good solid fade at the end. It'll handle some winds, not so understable that it's going to flip if you throw it too hard, but not so overstable that you can't get any distance with it. The Sling is very similar to your Rock or your Buzz, even your Truths. It's very, very similar to those, but I would think it's more like a Buzz with the high-speed stability of a Rock, if that kind of makes any sense. It's very straight out of your hand, and then it does have some of that late fade that you really, really want. And again, you can see it glides really nice even on these low lines, and we'll get some slide there. Now this one, I think Alex really put some power into that, and you can see it doesn't even think about turning over right there. Did kind of stall out at the end, maybe threw it a little bit too high, but there was some power in that shot for sure. And now this one, I basically was walking out to the tee, throwing it as hard as I can. There was some headwind there, so I gave it a little bit too much hyzer. I was hoping to see if I get it to flip over a little bit, but you can see it did come out of my hand with some hyzer and flipped flat. And again, a little bit of hyzer, a little bit of flip there, just kind of come up short of the basket. And there again, there's a really nice shot. You can see it going perfectly straight away from the basket, no turn at all. And now into some more Anhyzer shots to see how it handles. This was kind of one area where the Sling was, it kind of it gave me some questions. There'll be a couple shots here in a second where it doesn't really fight out of an Anhy like you would expect. Something like a Rock or a Buzz or a Truth, whatever. If you throw it with an Anhy, it's going to fight out towards the end. But the Sling, it was very interesting. It didn't really want to do that. It seemed to just kind of hold that Anhyzer straight into the ground. Here you can see that one was fighting back, and then it did unfortunately hit a tree. But this is one of the clips that I was talking about. These next two, it just kind of holds that line just straight into the ground. And you can see I really cranked this one over, but it didn't even begin to fight out. And then the same thing here for Alex. Just crank it way over on an Anhy, and it just holds it straight into the ground. which this really surprised me. I was expecting it to fight out more like a stable to overstable mid-range would typically, but it just didn't, which if you're not looking for something to throw big flex lines with, this will be fine, but a big flex with a mid-range isn't really a shot many people are throwing anyways. And there you can see Alex did unfortunately hit a tree again. And in this one it does kind of fight out of it a little bit, which it will do on these soft Anhyzers, but on a hard Anhyzer it's just going to hold that line all the way to the ground. Alright guys, that is the mid-range, that's the Sling from Westside Discs. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for part 3 that is going to be featuring the Falchion, that is the driver for on latitude 64. Thank you all for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, go get out and throw.